Hello, this is Christy. Today we will look at how you can fix photos in Photoshop. There are many techniques for fixing photos depending on how damaged your photo is or what you're trying to achieve. Maybe you want to remove a subject from a photo or do other things that will alter the original aspect or look of the photo. But in this particular episode, I'm going to focus on repairing or fixing or restoring textures or regions of photos. So I have this photo here that I found on Unsplash. It's from Marcus Spiska. Thank you, Marcus. And we will look at this photo and see. I'm probably not going to spend the whole time fixing the entire photo, but we will look at some techniques you can use in Photoshop to fix different things and restore regions of photos. So let's start. The first thing you can do is to look at what you can fix first. So you can see these scratches here, these lines. So Photoshop has a tool that allows you to repair those quite easily, and it's kind of part content aware tool, part cloning stamp tool, and it's looking around at the region around the picture. So this is very good to repair little specks of dust, little spots, lines or cracks or creases in the photo that Photoshop can use surrounding areas to figure out what should come in that place. So I'm just going to demonstrate this. I'm going to zoom in here. You can zoom in Photoshop with Control and plus key or Command plus key, and if you press space you can pan around like this with using your click or the mouse. So let's look at this. This tool is called the spot healing brush tool. So it's a brush that allows you to fix little spots. So if you look here, I have this little dot. If I just click on it, it has disappeared. So the setting at the top here under type refers to this brush, and it is content aware. So that means it's going to try and figure out the general pattern around the area you're trying to fix and replace the area that you're fixing with that particular pattern or color or shade. So this is quite a powerful tool, and as you can see, I'm just clicking and it's fixing these areas, removing these dust specks from wherever I click. So it also is able to fix lines. So all I have to do is you can change the size of this brush by using the square bracket tools. And if you see here this scratch, this very long scratch, all I have to do to repair that is just paint over this line. Don't stray, just paint over the entire line. And when you lift your mouse, this is what happens. The entire line has been removed, and the area where it used to be is replaced by the same kind of texture that you can see here on my white area. So this is very nice. So let's fix this spot here on the black area. So click on that, look at this, it has disappeared. And this tool is very nice at, very good at determining also direction. So if I click on this speck here, watch what happens. It almost perfectly replaced that with a slanted piece of texture, piece of line that comes from the top here. So this is one quick way of fixing minor imperfections, lines and dots and maybe crumbs or whatever. All you have to do is just paint over them, and if the surrounding area is large enough for the tool to figure out what you're trying to do, it will repair that. So let me show you here. Let's try and clean this up a little bit more, and then I will show you the other tool. One thing you notice here, if the area I'm trying to fix is quite large and it is not able to determine, it's gonna actually create the wrong texture in place because it's finding this shape here, the line and the black area on the left, and it's creating this black shape here because it's thinking that this is the pattern that we want. So in that situation here, this may not be the best tool to fix in these very narrow spaces. You can try making the tool smaller and painting over the entire area again, and then you can probably fix it like that, because the tool is not going to look around for such big area. If your tool is smaller, then the repair that's going to happen is going to be smaller too, and it's going to look at the surrounding area kind of the size of the tool. So this is what I see from the way that this works. It's actually trying to anticipate and figure out the general shape you want in the area you're trying to repair. So if it doesn't work very well the first time, you can try building and fixing little small areas and just work your way towards the rest of the area you're trying to fix. But this is very good for fixing, maybe if you're fixing someone's face, sort of like freckles maybe, or I don't know, apnea or something, acne. This will fix that quite easily with no effort, and you don't have to worry about the color. So let me zoom out here and show you. So you see this massive crack here in the shade, in the orange space, but also you see that this is darker orange and then it gets lighter towards the corner. So let's see if the tool is able to fix this. So I'm going to make the tool larger and just fix the entire crack at once. So look at this, it's almost perfect. You can see the shade changes a little bit here. So you can try and fix, you can color an entire area. You don't have to always do it in a straight line or just a dot. So yeah, this is how it does it. And look at this dark area here. So we have a bit of dirt on this area here. So let me just try and make this smaller and just go and follow the line. So this is a good way to do it. Just follow lines like that, and this tool will just repair those. Okay, so we've played long enough with this tool now. I'm going to show you another tool you can use for restoration that is more involved. It has been around for longer than this other one that I showed you just now, the healing brush. And this new tool is called Clone Stamp Tool, or you press the key S in Photoshop. So the Clone Stamp tool does something similar to the previous tool, but in this case, you decide where the area to be copied from is. So if you see here, this might be tricky for me to fix with the healing brush tool, because the healing brush tool may not figure out exactly what area I want to keep, because it's in between two areas. One is white, one is black, and this bad rusty sort of area, or whatever this color is, it's all over the place and it intersects both areas. So it might be hard to figure out how to fix, but with the Clone Stamp tool, you can tell it what to do and where to grab data information from. So in this case, so I've selected the Clone Stamp tool, and it involves two steps. One step, the first step is to press the Alt key or Option, I think, on the Mac, and click on where you want to copy from. So just to give you a very simple example, I would like to cover part of this area with white, because I am on the white side. I don't worry about the black at the moment. So on the white side, I want to copy this. So this tool clones, that's the name, it clones a area from where you copy, it clones it onto a new area, sort of like you're applying a skin graft maybe. So I want to tell it to start copying from here. So I'm going to click the Alt key and click, and now release the Alt key, and you can see maybe my cursor has turned into the exact copy of the area that I've copied from. But when I start to paint over the area I want, it's going to move the copy source together with my brush. So I can copy a huge patch of this texture from here onto the new area I want to repair. So let me show you. I'm just painting over my damaged area like this. And look at this. It's restoring my image with the copy of this area that I've just indicated I want to copy from. But so there's two pitfalls here. One, you need to make sure that the area you're copying from has the same sort of light or shade as the area you're trying to paint over. So if you see in my example here, I kind of copied from a darker area. So now my area here is too dark. It's slightly dark. You can fix this with other tools, but to start, you can start restoring your image like this. So let's try on the black. So obviously now on the black space, I cannot copy white, of course. So I have to go on the black area and take a sample from here. Press the Alt key, click inside of the black, and now go down here and start painting. One other thing you need to be careful is when you move your painting area like this, you notice the arrow follows the X, the plus sign on the screen follows my exact movement and copies data from that point. But if I go too far down, remember I'm holding down the left click on my mouse. If I go, although I see the black area I put here, if I go down too much, my copying area is going to start coming into the damage space and it's going to start copying. So the clone source still sees the previous data. So if I want the clone source not to see this, I have to drag and lift my mouse to let it paint and finish painting. So now as I copy, it's no longer bringing the other area, although I am intersecting and I'm bringing the plus sign into the area that used to be damaged, right? So you have to just click, drag, and release. Click, drag, and release before you bring that plus key, that plus sign that you see that's following my brush, before you bring that into the same area you've fixed, because that's going to still see the old data. Now we have fixed the white and the black. So you notice here an area that has been sort of in between the black and the white. So because my brush is not very accurate, I cannot fix that line accurately. So I'm going to zoom in a bit here so you can see this area that's been left here bleeding into the white. So the way to fix that, really, because basically in here we need a sharp black line. So the way to fix that is by sampling. So I press the Alt key and I'm sampling a piece of the picture from exactly the line. So I'm placing my clone source on the line and clicking and releasing. And now watch what happens. My brush is loaded, if you want, with that area between. So all I have to do is just slide up and to the right, match my line, and just keep moving up. And my brush is going to repair my area exactly with the sharp line like the area I copied from. Now, this is important to slide in the same angle, at the same angle, because otherwise you're going to just create a duplicate line here just next to it. So if you need to adjust your angle, just go back on the line and put your cursor on it, click, and then move up again, just keeping the angle. See, I'm not doing a very good job right now. So you may have to click from the top, and wherever you start painting is where the line will be placed, and from that point onwards your origin is locked to your brush. So you can see here how I fix this number 2, this digit, perfectly. My area has been cleaned. So let's fix another one, maybe down here somewhere. This is very dirty, like scratched. So what can you do? You just need to look for a clean area. So if you can't find a clean area, we have one here by the way, but if you cannot find one, then you can build one from little patches all over the place, and then you kind of build it and paint it, and then you keep expanding your area until the whole thing is fixed. So let's try and fix this one. So I'm going to sample from here, press the Alt key just in the middle of the black area and just go down like this, try and paint over it. Remember to release your mouse to let the area paint. So I've made a mistake here. Don't be afraid to use your undo, your Control Z to go back if you just click on an area you don't want to and you make a mistake, and just keep on clicking like this. If you want to make smoother fixes, you can probably play with the opacity of the clone stamp tool. So if 100% will replace the exact same color without transparency. So if you want to kind of make some smoother adjustments by copying different patches from different places, then you can turn down your opacity, and then your changes are going to blend with the existing data. So you can actually do more smooth fixes like that. Also, don't be afraid to zoom in and make your brush smaller to fit in those narrow places. So it's very easy to do this on plain colors. It's more difficult to do it when you have patterns and repeating patterns and stuff like that, because those you need to kind of make sure that you make those not seem overly repetitive, because it's quite easy to see where if a bad job's been done on this cloning stamp tool, what's going to happen is you're going to see some repeated patterns that have not been blended properly, and you can tell that someone used this tool on that place, and it's not going to look natural. So if I were to maybe show you an example of this, if I were to fix an area from here, right? So you see I have these dots. So let's say that I want to clean up this orange space here. So I'm going to sample from these dots, and I'm going to just click on this, and then I'm sampling from here and cleaning up a bit, and sampling from here, and you can see that my brush is now, the more I go in the same angle, my brush is creating this repeated pattern of dots. Now that's not very nice, because you can tell that it's forced. It's not a random pattern or a natural seamless pattern there. You can tell that these dots have been copied from here and repeated over and over and over. So you want to try and make things smooth and try not to copy from the same place for multiple regions. So if I'm just copying from the same place, fixing this, and then copying from the same place to move down, you can already spot the repeating elements in my pattern there. So that's not nice. It's going to create like a cluster of repeated patches, which doesn't really look natural. So you can see we've almost finished cleaning this number 2. I just have a little bit left in here. So you can zoom in more and try and use maybe the healing brush tool, make it kind of small, fix this spot here, fix these little things like that, remove the dots because they shouldn't be here, those white specks, and click on the line to repair the texture really quick here. Okay, and if it doesn't do a very perfect job, you can just go in there and make a very, very small brush and just smooth it out like that. So these specs, like you've seen, I fixed them with this healing brush tool, but you can achieve the same thing with a very small clone stamp by just clicking on the black area somewhere and just clicking on the dots like this. Click again on a black area. It's very important to have an area you can move around and copy from without bleeding into the other color. Because if I'm copying from here, the edge, and I'm going kind of here, and I'm drawing and I'm fixing and I'm fixing, and then by mistake I go too far back, then my plus sign, my sample area will move with me, and then look, I've made a mistake here and I copied white on top of on the black. So that's not good. So you can spend a lot of time just you know, patience is really important in this, because if you rush it, a rush job is not really good when you do this restoration. So you can see now that I fixed the top of the number 2. It's a bit wonky there, but for now it's not a problem. So you may actually get to some more difficult areas. So like, for example, look, this one, the number 0 here is quite damaged. So how can you approach this? Well, in this situation here, we look at good areas that we have. So if you don't have good areas, you need to fix those first. So I'm just going to try and quickly fix here without making this video too long. I'm going to try and fix a piece of the number 0 here that I can then use and copy from for my other part. Because so that's you have to kind of look at your picture and say, what can I copy? Where can I copy stuff from to fix my my image? So it's not always quite easy, but you can do it. So I have quickly fixed a portion of the number 0 there. You see, I have a segment of 0 here that is nice and clean, well, sort of. And what you can do is now I can actually fix this portion down here with the same sample data. So I can just make a larger brush using my square bracket tool, my square bracket keys, and then sample a piece of the line from the top, but before you get to the curvy bit here. So I'm going to sample from here and then move down. I kind of gone too far. Okay, so I'm going to sample from here and then move down. Make sure I start with a clean and straight line and just keep going down like this. So you can see I am fixing the number 0 with data from above, including on the white area. So I may not be, I think the angle here is not very good, but I'm actually also copying stuff from the outside and the inside, and just go down. If you notice that your tool is kind of cutting into it, you can click and sample it again and then go down there and keep going. So then you have the confidence that that side is going to just align with the other bit. So this not only works on vertical stuff or horizontal stuff, you can do it at different angles like we've done on the number 2 there. So okay, so I fixed a big chunk of this vertical of number 0. So now I can use that to fix the left side. So let me just demonstrate. I'm going to zoom in a bit here. So I'm going to sample from the right edge here like this and go onto the right edge here and just go down and fix it like that. So look, as I'm going, I'm fixing and copying stuff. Now I have a bit of a problem here because the shade is different. So all I can probably try and do is put the opacity down like 50% maybe, and then go back and restore some of this shade that I had here before, right? So I can copy from here and then just go down and fix the inside. But I can do that later. Right now I want to finish fixing my number 0 there. So turn up the opacity again, go to the top of the line, and then start cloning down here all of this region until, and I need to stop here where the curvy bit starts, because I'm gonna have to fix that separately because it's no longer working the same way. And I can go back and just bring down the rest of the black And now I can copy from here, and see it's quite different here, difficult here to see where the straight left edge starts. So you're gonna have to make a bit of a visual assessment here. If not, you can probably just make a selection and align that with the left, and then bring a guideline there. So now you know where your left line should be. So take the clone stamp again, copy from the left edge, and just place it onto your guideline and go back up like this. So I'm just rushing through this, but basically that is the workflow. You just clone different areas from good areas, right? So here you go. Our number 20 is starting to show up, and yeah, so you can just go in here and fix that. You can also fix these shade differences later by using different cloning techniques, or the burn tool or the dodge tool, that are also tools that you can make the color darker or lighter. So I'm just improvising here now. So I wanted to show you, and this is going to be short of half an hour video. So I hope this video was interesting for you. I was trying to demonstrate how you can fix photos, fix damaged images, repair patterns, repair pieces of photos, even clone and expand some photos using the healing brush tool and the cloning stamp tool. So thank you for watching. I hope these tutorials are interesting for you. If you enjoy these, please subscribe to my channel, share it and like it, and see you next time.